Hey guys, in this video I'll be going through one of the most common questions we get, and that is the difference between the sourcing and manufacturer views in Amazon Vendor Central Retail Analytics. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Benjamin Bolshinsky. I used to work at Amazon in the vendor management team for almost 3 years, and now I run a company called Vendor Launch, where we work with exclusively Amazon vendors to grow their purchase orders. So without further ado, if you've looked at Vendor Central Retail Analytics, you would have probably come across this screen here. When you're looking at sales, there is what's called a distributor view in the filters. And you've got two options, manufacturing and sourcing. And it can be quite confusing as to which one you should pick because they often show different values. So let me explain. Firstly, sourcing typically shows sales for products sourced specifically from your vendor code, right? Whereas manufacturing will be showing sales that are related to the manufacturer of the product, irrespective of which exact vendor code they are sourced from. So again, sourcing is specifically related to sales associated with the vendor code, your vendor code, if they've been purchased from your vendor code. The best way to communicate this is through an example. So let's just say we have an example ASIN X, and that ASIN X is supplied by 3 vendors. So 3 separate vendors have the ASIN added to their catalog in 3 separate vendor central accounts, and each of them have a different cost price. Now, let's say vendor 3 is the manufacturer, the main vendor with the cheapest cost price. So this is typically where from whom Amazon will most often purchase this ASIN X. And it's, as I said, the manufacturer. And so let's just say 1 unit has been sold from Amazon to the customer. And so what will happen in the Vendor Central dashboard is it will show up in the manufacturing view for all vendors, right? Because it's based on the manufacturer. Whereas from the sourcing view, it will only show up as a sale in the sourcing view for vendor 3, because that's the vendor that's from which the product has been sourced from, has been ordered from. The PO was placed from that vendor. So as you can see, sourcing is really related to the vendor that's actually supplying the product against the vendor code that those sales are being marked against. Whereas manufacturing is not related to who the vendor is, to which vendor is the product being ordered from. It's related to purely retail sales, so from Amazon to the customer. So hopefully that makes sense. So what's the recommendation? The recommendation is that you should use the sourcing view unless you want to see Amazon retail sales as a whole, irrespective of where the products were actually purchased from. So the only caveat here is sometimes a product may be assigned to an incorrect manufacturer in the backend, which can distort the value. But usually, if you're selling products on Amazon, you're typically interested in sales as they relate to products that you've actually sold to Amazon that have been purchased from you. Because that's what you ultimately invoice Amazon for. And so sourcing will most accurately reflect those sales which are directly attributed to what you've supplied Amazon. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Otherwise, have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.